In this video, we are going to be going over, is listing on eBay dead? We all know that listing consistently has been the theme of eBay and being able to gain traction on the platform. So I want to open a discussion up today as the topic for today's video of, is listing every day on eBay a thing of the past? You know, I've been listing every day for nearly 3 years on eBay. I've had great results. I've been able to grow my store over 10,000 items on eBay, doing over $178,000 in sales last year. Going to be hitting that amount this year, roughly. So I just want to really pick your guys' brain as to, are you listing every day? Are you seeing any changes in the eBay algorithm from listing every day to not listing every day? I personally know a few people in our Patreon and then a few other YouTube resellers that don't list every day and they have great success. So I just really want to know, comment down below, what is your guys' results and feelings about this? I'm going to continue to list every day going forward. So today we actually have a store review to kind of go over. A person had reached out and did a coaching call with me, and they also purchased a store review. So we're going to be deep diving into their store, but I also wanted to just really see where you guys are at on eBay and just really seeing, are you going to be listing every day, or what's your feelings about that? So if you're new to the channel, my name is Bo. I'm a full-time eBay reseller here on YouTube to help you guys go further faster in your reselling life. So if you also are interested in any kind of store review, you have a couple options. You could check out the link down below, or I pinned a comment on the side here and you can do a sign-up sheet for an eBay store review. But kind of let those, you know, not facts, but let those words marinate in your brain a little bit. You know, I think a lot of conditioning has been going on with the listing every day, listing habit. And I do agree with it. You know, being consistent, building up that habit of consistency of getting items put on eBay every day is key. But I almost feel like we are at the stage of a transition, you know, because if you list every day, that's great, but what are you listing every day? Is it junk items? And maybe eBay is trying to now focus on changing things on their back end to where listing every day is really not a huge issue. You know, it's not a huge determining factor to whether you get sales every day. So that's why I kind of wanted to think about this title. And this is kind of what I've been hearing lately in the reselling world of, maybe things are changing for the better on eBay or for the worse. So I want to take some time and jump into the store review. But if you guys have any questions about reselling, personal life, business life, just drop them in the comments and I will circle back to answering your guys' questions. But today's store review is an interesting one. Ashley Enterprises. Been on eBay for quite some time. I had a couple moments to speak with Mr. Justin is his name, and he's been doing eBay for years, 10, 20 years. So it's just now starting to take it a little bit more seriously and starting to really try to figure out how he can optimize his store better. 9.1 thousand items sold, so that's great. 100% feedback. And 2,135 items listed. Pretty nice. You know, it's not your first time. It's not your first rodeo. So you got a nice collection of items, I'll say. You know, speaking to you, Justin, really got a good idea of where you're kind of at in your business and what you want to look towards the future. From my understanding, you want to now start niching down more into clothing. We had talked about possibly starting a second store for you, and I believe you did already, which is great. We'll talk about that, why I think that is great later on down the road. But you could see here, there's a little bit of everything. You got golf clubs. You got some clothing, you have some video games, you have an Alaskan totem pole, you have a spinning reel, you got a lot of Halloween door covers. Very good. So, would I suggest someone to be listing clothing in this type of store if that's something that they're looking to really niche down into? My personal opinion is to really not do that. It's to really separate the two. You know, if you're looking to get into clothing and you have a bunch of different random items in your store, you may want to consider opening another store up to possibly just get that store more optimized for clothing listings. So eBay really knows what type of buyer to send into your store, because when you have an everything store like you do here, you have great items, but it might be a little bit hard to gauge how your metrics truly are, because you have golf clubs, you got video games, you got a bunch of different items in here that is going to make it a little bit harder for you to optimize your store and know how you can measure the progress. For me, I basically stay in the category of clothing. Yeah, I list shoes. Yeah, I list belts, wallets, hats, but I consider that all relevant categories. When you have shirts and golf clubs and video games and totem poles, that's quite a bit different. Though people do great with everything, that's awesome. For me, in my opinion, I just want to have it a little more seamless. Like, I would rather have an everything store separate, where I have the golf clubs, the PlayStation games, and the electronics and the hard goods separate from my clothing, so I can really, especially if I'm looking to really niche down into clothing, I want to keep it separate so I know what to do in my clothing store and what to do in my everything store. So I think that was a great decision, Justin, and I'm happy that you're starting a new store to start putting your clothing in. Um, your newest listings look great. The photos look great. You got Peter Millar, you got Polo Ralph Lauren, Lanzan, Ralph Lauren. So good job. Your photos look awesome. That's the first thing that I look at when I'm looking at listings is photos. And you have a great way to source your inventory. That's awesome. I'm actually really excited to see how your new store will be when you're just starting fresh. I think you've had this account for quite some time, so it's going to be interesting to see how much more clothing you sell in this new store compared to your bigger store. But what we're going to do first is we're going to check your sell-through rate, just to kind of give us a good idea of how you're pricing your items, how your titles are, and the type of items you're putting in your store. We really want to aim for 1% sell-through rate. You have 2,100 items, so it's okay if you have 0.5% sell-through rate every day in your store, because it is a larger store. So let's see what you're selling, and we'll get a good idea. So we'd love to sell 21 a day, right? But we are looking like we are selling, let's see, divided by 90. We're selling about 8 to 10 a day, 8 to 9 a day. Still pretty good, almost about 0.5% every day selling through your store. That's great. And you've sold some a train set, a really cool glass seahorse. You have some clothes. Look at that. Luciano Barbera. Everybody, there's a bolo for you. $185 for a men's vest. Very good sale right there. The thing is your sale price for a lot of your clothing items is amazing. And that's just because you have a really good source and a way to get that good inventory, which is like the key to being successful as a reseller. Is like, if you can find a good source, you could start selling Polo Ralph Lauren crocodile loafers for $316. So the source is not the issue, and I remember talking to you last week, is that you got your source on lockdown. Now it's just figuring out how we can optimize this store a little bit better. So 8 to 9 sales a day on a 2,100 item store. That's great. Let's look at some of your newest listings and see how you've improved, because I've already spoken with you, so you probably took some of those notes and ran with it. I already could see a better cadence in your title. You always want that brand first, item type, gender, and the size, and then followed with the keywords. So good job there. And right on. And oh, cool. Wow, you even got this. That's nice. Wow. I would suggest adding in some measurements, possibly. That will really be helpful for the buyer. It will help cut down on returns, even though, yes, the buyers don't look at the photos and all that. You still just want to be able to put an extra couple photos in there of the pit to pit and the collar to the bottom hemline at least. And then if you could do the collar to the cuff to get the arm measurement would be great. Your shipping price looks good. 30-day returns. Awesome. Let's look at some of your items. Wow. Look at that wall of item specifics. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. That's great. I will suggest though, yeah, I see you did put the measurements in the item specifics. That's great. To help speed up time in your listing process, what I would do is I would just take photos of the ruler being measured, the pit to pit, the the collar to the bottom hemline, and just take photos. And that way you could speed up this listing process that much more rather than filling in all of these little item specifics. I know this takes extra time. All of these little measurements, waist, I mean, it's great. You went into detail, but what we're trying to do is be as fast and as efficient as possible. So by just taking a snapshot of that measurement and putting it in your photos will cut down a lot more time than punching in all these numbers into your item specifics. So that's kind of what I would do. I really like your item description, big, bold letters. I would consider, slightly making it less wordy. What I would do is basically copy and paste all of this into like a Chat GPT or a Claude AI and just basically copy paste it and say, make this shorter. And that's it. And it will take out a lot of the unneeded words in this block of text. But I really do like I like that you are making your point across and it looks very clear to read. Similar to mine. If you want to look at my item description, this is what it looks like. It's very simple. I want to keep it short and concise to make sure that I'm just reiterating to the end buyer, this is what we do, this is what we stand for, this is how fast it ships. Previous washings may change the sizing. Please compare the measurements in the photos to ensure proper fit. Having a word or a sentence like that will help you not have to put in all of those measurements into your item specifics. But I really like the simplicity of your item description. I would just maybe try to cut it down on the words. So good listing there. That was one of your newest listings. This is Alan Payne sweater, men's medium. Perfect. Great job. So good job on that. I love it. You got cardigan, crew, jumper, lead, Kenford, faded, dye, half. Okay, interesting. You could almost use like thermal, waffle. It's merino wool. That's a great keyword. Just put merino wool or wool in there. Great brand, Alan Payne. Awesome brand to be looking out for. New with tags. Great job. So $65, $707 shipping. It will ship Ground Advantage. Very good. Awesome. Yeah, so just going back, I'm really thinking that your listings probably take a little longer than normal because you're punching in all those measurements. So I would just consider just taking a photo of it and just put in the photos and then have something like I have in my item description. Please see photos for measurements as they may differ from the tag size, because you do need to remember that a lot of people don't read the title, they don't look at the photos, they don't read the item description, and they don't even read the item specifics. So by taking a photo, at least you're covered as a seller. And if they are interested in the pit to pit measurement, they could see photo number 6 that has the pit to pit. So otherwise, great job. You're really detailed in all this, and that's important. I'm just trying to help you speed up your processes, help you be a little bit more efficient so you could start pumping out more clothing listings. I know you're working with a partner as well. So, whoever's doing the listings, that's just kind of what I would suggest going forward, just taking a photo of that measurement. But by no means are you listing bad items, and that's one thing I look for when I do these store reviews is, okay, what are they selling exactly? In an age and a time now where what you sell is more important than ever, you have some amazing clothing items in your store. Yeah, just overall, you have good items like some collectibles, you have some antiques, you have some golf clubs. So you do have an eye for finding value while you're out sourcing. So it's going to be cool to see how you transition into your clothing store. And also, you could update me, keep a communication with me. Let me know how that clothing store's coming along. But as for this store, we kind of already touched on that. Moving into a separate store for clothing is going to be probably the best bet going forward, since you got some age on this account here. But yeah, the golf clubs look good. You turned them, and I remember you said you turned the photo because you did a lot of end and sell similar. So let's see, 1019 shipping. See, the thing with golf clubs is, they used to be good a couple years ago, but about a year ago, a lot of the shipping changed for shipping out golf clubs. So it kind of either made it to where you couldn't even affordably ship it out USPS ground, or priority, you have to ship it out UPS ground to even make it work. But, if golf clubs are still your thing, keep listing them. I see a lot of these are lower end golf clubs. I think with your everything store, I would look to put a limit of like, if I can't sell this item for $20 plus shipping, I'm not going to list it in my everything store. Just to be able to help you, raise your average sale price and not just pick up everything when you're out sourcing. So a lot of golf clubs. I remember you said this store is comprised of like a fifth of clothing. So not too much clothing on here. This is a good bolo to look out for everyone that is watching. Double RL Ralph Lauren. If you ever see that while you're out sourcing, you're going to want to pick it up. This is one of the top tier lines of Ralph Lauren. So double RL. So you got Ralph Lauren Double RL Western shirt, sawtooth pocket, diamond snaps, point yoke. Beautiful keywords. Sawtooth pocket is referring to these pockets here, how they kind of have 2 points. That is called sawtooth pocket. And when you have the yoke, which is this point here, it's kind of an extra stitching to help keep support on the shoulders. And then diamond pearl snaps are obviously diamond shaped and not circular. So this is an awesome looking shirt. Great job, and great title too. I'm proud of you, Justin. That's great. So good job on that one. I say the takeaway from looking at a few of your listings is just to get a little bit faster, I would consider just taking the photo of the measurement for your items. Yeah, I mean, the shipping price looks good. If that 1019 is covering your shipping price on golf clubs, that's great. And I don't know what you're paying for golf clubs, but if you're losing money on the golf clubs, I would go and delist a lot of those ones that aren't really worth your time. Just to help clean up your everything store a little bit more. One thing I would do, I don't know if, let's see, if you have a coupon. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but having a coupon will greatly help. You see this coupon here, extra 20% off with code PARTYTIME2024. That is just another way for you to make more sales. Having a nice banner coupon up here where you could give 10, 20% off is just another way to make more sales. So I would highly suggest consider playing around with that. And I don't know if you run a markdown sale. Can't remember if we talked about that last time, but any items, we did talk about it last time. Any items over like 2 years old, I would look to just possibly delist them and get them out of your store. You do have a way to liquidate a lot of that inventory. So 2 years and over, get it out of there and look to just clean up the older listings, the staler listings in your store. Great job on the titles. All your golf titles, I would just look to put as many keywords as you can. You get 80 characters to be able to put in your title. So I would look at sports, outdoor, golfing, just those simple keywords can help bring in more active buyers to find your listing. So you got Wilson Staff Dynapower 9. I would add into the end of this golf, sports, clubs. What is relevant to the sport of golf? Add that keyword in there. It's going to help. We don't want to cut ourselves short of not filling out all of the keywords. That's just whenever I see a shortened title, I just go, there's always something we can add in that's going to be relevant to that item that's going to help in bring in more search traffic. So let's take a look at your shoes. We got some Under Armour shoes, Hover, Sonic 3 men's. So I think we talked about this last time. Same thing kind of applies for shoes. Is like I like to stick with brand, item, gender, size. So we got Under Armour shoes, men's size 12.5, and then I would use things like Hover, Sonic 3 as a keyword. I would move this to the back of the size. So it should read Under Armour shoes, men's size 12.5, and then I would use Hover, Sonic 3 anywhere past the size. I want to be able to get as many buyers for Under Armour shoes to view my listing as possible. So that's why we start with our title very broad, so we can get as many people looking for Under Armour shoes as possible, and then we can keyword it after the size. And that's just going to help people who are looking for the Hover Sonic 3. You have that in your keywords. So good shipping price, great photos, they look awesome. You even have a measurement of the width of the shoe. Very good detail. I will say, though, if you do want to speed up your process, these are not super necessary. The measurement of the shoe's length and width, I don't do that. And actually, this is the first time I've seen anyone do that. But if you're wanting to speed up a little bit more time, not super necessary to measure the length and the width of the shoe. So $11 shipping on that. Good job. Great item specifics. You got the EU size. You got the UK size. Great job. This listing is probably a little bit older. See, September 15th, so 5 days old. Very good. Lots of golf clubs. Like I said before, $9.50 or best offer plus $10 shipping. I would going forward look to only put $20 plus items in my store if it was an everything store. That way I could just really know that I'm getting paid a good hourly wage, and not, every sale of these lower end golf clubs is like $2 profit or $1 profit. I don't know how much you're making off of those lower end sales for golf clubs, but that's just where I would go. My point of view going forward on eBay, look to just pick up higher average sale price items. So definitely get a hold of me after you watch this review. I'll send it to your email. And just let me know how that new store is coming along. I will also send you a business outline of what we talked about last week, so you could always refer back to that. I hope that was helpful, Justin. I appreciate you, and please come back for more. Ask questions, and I want to see how you're making these improvements. So I want to get into the chat. I did not forget about you guys. I hope you're all doing well. So today's topic is listing every day on eBay dead. Drop in the comments down below. Give me your thoughts. What do you think about that? Are you a lister of everyday life? Is that something you just stand by? Or do you see results just as good listing every day? I don't know. So I want to know. I know a few people in our Patreon that Marcus and I run. One guy hadn't listed all weekend, and he did great in sales. And then the moment he started listing Again, he had a terrible day on Monday. So it's interesting how that works, right? Tango Collections, what's going on? Hello there. Mr. Mrs. Garcia, I would try to pronounce your first name, but I'll just get it wrong. So, you say, I don't really care about the algorithm so much. It's about being consistent and disciplined for me. Yes. If I let things start slipping, that's how death piles get started. Yeah, absolutely. Really consistency in being disciplined in anything is going to lead to your success no matter what you do. So that's why I wanted to bring up the listing every day. I really do think that the times on eBay are shifting, are changing. It doesn't mean that you don't have to list every day, but I do think that something's happening on the back end where there's been so much spamming, and now you see all these AI listing tools coming out that eBay's trying to possibly change up instead of the quantity that's going up on eBay every day, they're trying to now focus on the quality. So, if you're listing every day but the items suck, what do you think about that? Is it better to list every other day and the items are gold and platinum items that have 100% sell-through rate and $10, $20, $30 average sale price? What's going to outweigh it? I don't know. I think we're at a tipping point. I'm still certainly going to be listing every day, as it's just a built-in habit for me. But if things change and I start hearing more and more people just like crushing it and they're only listing every other day and nothing's changed, then I will be open to the possibility. So what's going on, Reseller Tom? He's in the house. Hope you're doing well, brother. Have you been to the bins today? Reseller Tom, go check out his channel. That guy puts out some good info if you're looking to get into clothing. Very good, Tom. Good to see you. Huskies Emporium. Hi, Bo and chat. Hello. Hope you're doing well. No way. I picked up a ladies' Alan Payne jacket today. Nice. Yeah, Alan Payne. I think it's a UK brand. Very good brand to be picking up. So good job. You say, I don't list every day, and lately things are picking up. I think as long as you're active in your account every day doing tasks, then it's fine. Yeah, that could be true. Maybe listing every other day, and then on the off day of listing, you go into your store and fix 10 old listings. You update photos. You update item specifics. You maybe change some price. That could be the new way and the new normal on eBay. I don't know. I don't work for eBay. I don't really know too much in depth on the back side of things when it comes to eBay, as they keep a lot of that information locked down. But that would make sense to the average person, right? Like, okay, if I just stay active in my store every day, then is that the same as listing every day? Tango Collections, I list consistently every day, and I seem to have a lot better traffic than I used to. Yeah, there's like the big argument of like, well, I don't list every day and I make sales, but I've always thought if you want to make more sales, then listing every day can be more advantageous because you are more and more active. But there's like a fine line between that and listing quality versus quantity. Are you just trying to list every day to appease the eBay algorithm and the stuff is like bad items? Or are you trying to maybe list every other day and really focus on the best items possible? It's interesting. We'll see how that plays out. Stepmo, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. So if you guys have any questions or comments about this topic in general, just drop them in the comments down below after the replay. Like if you're catching it on the replay, because I want to know what are your feelings about this. I haven't met too many people that are all about listing every other day. It seems like everyone, the vast majority of eBay resellers, are trying to get onto a listing habit, listing consistently, and that's great. I think that's important, very important when you're starting out. But you really need to realize things are changing on eBay, and maybe I think when AI started to kind of really make its prominence on the internet over this last year, it just created a lot more bad actors. A lot more people that are just like, I'm gonna just, you've seen the machines. What I don't know off the top of the head, but they could pump out like 1,000 listings in a day, and you just gotta wonder, are those 1,000 items like, is that what people want? You know, like I personally don't know anyone buying CDs. So am I going to be looking to list 1,000 CDs a day? So if I don't know anyone that wants to buy a CD, why am I going to be listing 1,000 CDs on eBay? You know, and not saying like I don't know nobody, but I don't know like a ton of people that are actively looking for that. So just a question to ponder, right? Um, Reseller Tom, he says, yes, 20 gold items per day. So yeah, Tom, and I remember you saying you go to the bins pretty much every day. You're there for 2 to 3 hours every day. But the thing is you're not looking for what everyone else is kind of like settling for. You're looking for the 20 rock solid items that are either going to sell within 90 days or have a great average sale price of maybe like $20 and more. That's something where I'm shifting my business. I'm going to be releasing a video tomorrow going over my thrift haul and going over the things that I found. And it's really looking promising, you know, really setting the higher standards of clothing that you want to put in your store. I don't mind spending $3, $4, $5 an item if that item sells within 90 days and it sells for $20 or more. That is my plan going forward, which is why I cut my listing goal from 50 a day to 25 a day, because now I could put more money into those 25 items that have a better opportunity to sell. So, Tom, you have a great strategy. You know, I don't know how long you've been doing the bins every day, but it won't be too long, you know, into the future where you start to see that pay off. You're doing great too. I mean, you're doing 10,000 a month in sales on with clothing, so that should only go up. Yeah, less work and more profit. Exactly. Like I went from paying my listers $800 to $900 to $1,000 a month to now I just pay my listers $400 or $500 a month. So cutting that expense in half allows me to now spend more $400 or $500 extra on inventory. Plus, you know, we've been seeing this in the Patreon a lot, especially with Marcus. Is like instead of selling 100 items in a weekend to make $1,500 in gross sales, now he could sell 50 items in a weekend and make just as much. So, what would you rather do? Would you rather do the first or the second? Would you rather sell 100 items to make 1,500 gross or 50 items to make 1,500 gross? That's not even a question, right? We want to be able to not like be lazy, but we don't want to overwork. Like the volume game is not for everyone, and there are people out there that would love the opportunity to be able to ship 100 items and do 1,500 in gross. But I think as you get longer in the tooth on eBay and maybe you don't have a ton of space, you want to figure how can I work maybe a little bit less on listings and work a little bit more on sourcing. We all love to source, right? I think it's the majority of us all like to go out and find the deal, find the treasure. And I just think, you know, it makes it less enjoyable when you're killing yourself doing 50 items a day and you're like, man, this isn't even fun anymore. I was on the verge of like, this isn't even fun anymore, to now I love it. I take the family out with me. We go out garage sales, thrift stores, and it is actually rejuvenating. And it feels great because I don't need to be like, I need to get 500 items a week or else I'm not going to be able to hit my listing goal. Cutting that in half has really helped with my stress. I'm sure I'm going to keep going that way. And it's just really nice to be able to see some of that traction. Your average sale price is going to go up. So I'm not working anymore, but I'm also not working any less. I just took the extra hours, you know, from spending on photos every day and the put away, and now devoting one extra sourcing trip out a week. That's the fun part. So Huskies Emporium says eBay obviously wants to benefit the stores that have a great sell-through rate first and foremost. Yeah. You know, eBay has a lot of information on their buyers. They know exactly what buyers, how many buyers it takes to convert a sale. They know exactly who's a bad buyer. They know exactly who's a good buyer. So I just ask you this, if they have that information, which they do, are they going to send someone who has to look at 100 listings before they make a sale to a good sell-through rate store? Or are they going to sell that poor buyer to a lower sell-through rate store? So that is kind of where, that fine line is. Like, you want to be able to put the highest sell-through rate items in your store, so eBay can send you the converts after just looking after 3 listings. You don't want the buyer that has to look at 100 listings just to convert a sale. You want the buyers that convert right away because they know what they want. So high sell-through rate has always been, kind of my foundation as a business, but now it's more than ever at the top of my list. I don't buy anything that has a lower sell-through rate than 30%. So whereas before I was like, okay, it's fine, 20%, 15%. I think once you get below 15%, you're kind of just kicking yourself in the knee, unless you have several warehouses where you could store items for several years. I just don't do that business model, but it's out there for anyone to try. But yeah, you're right, Huskies Emporium. That's true. I think eBay also just rewards us for doing any work. There's a fly. As long as we are actively improving our stores. Yeah, 100%. Like going in and fixing some titles. That's why I always suggest in these eBay store reviews is like something you could do for free is just go to your oldest listings first, fix some of your titles, update maybe some of your item specifics, and that's going to be huge. You don't know how many times people have commented in the Discord and reached out to me on Instagram and they go, "Wow, I fixed like my oldest listings from 2 years ago, and I'm actually starting to get watchers on those items. I'm actually made a sale from this item that hadn't had a watcher in 3 years." So just fixing your titles, updating maybe an item specific or two is what I call is remaining active on eBay. And I always say go to your oldest listings first because that's when we were new, when we were green, And I just say, my oldest listings are terrible. Don't look at them; they're awful. But as I've been updating them and getting them better and more improved, other than a markdown sale, which I don't do anymore, it's good to see traction on some of those listings that you do improve. But yeah, I kind of just had that in my mind. That's why I titled the video of like, is listing every day dead? Like, I hear more and more people talk about it. I hear more and more people kind of rumbling about how eBay is really shifting into that direction. But I'm still on the fence, or I'm still on the side of the fence of listing every day will help you get more sales than versus just listing every other day. It's kind of like my point of view with the coupons. It's like, oh, people ask me, do you want? I want more sales. Well, it's like, okay, then are you running a markdown sale? No. Are you running a coupon? No. Are you running a volume discount? Are you using the eBay tools that is going to allow you to make more sales? I just ask you that. Are you doing it? Do you want more sales? Then start offering some of those alternative options in which someone can buy your product. You could do bundle orders. There's several things that we could be doing as sellers on eBay to really help bring in more sales into our store. I mean, I do store reviews every week, and people are wondering why they don't have more sales, but they don't have, volume discount on. They don't have a best offer turned on. They don't have coupons turned on. So it's like there's 3 other opportunities where a buyer could possibly purchase your item. I think having best offer on is key. I know some people don't do it, but what would you think? Would a store sell more items and make more money if they had best offer turned on or not? Do you think? Do you think a store that has best offer turned on versus the same store with best offer turned off, which store would sell more items and make more money? It's a good one. So Tango Collection says that's true. I've sold stuff that has been in my store for almost a year because I changed the title structure. Yep. Huskies Emporium, you said it's annoying optimizing things, and part of me thinks we still should have to do it the way they want. The search could be much simpler. Oh my goodness, yeah, the search. There's more than one problem going on right now on eBay, and search is one of the biggest problems. People typing in Levi's jeans and they get pottery and surfboards. It's like the search needs some adjusting for sure. Husty says, I've just started to put it on so I can tell you straight. All right. Great Deals Depot. Well, sure, if I went to Walmart and they had a best offer, I would go more. Yeah, come on, Walmart. What are you thinking? Yeah, I mean, just think of it from a retail point of view. They also have slimmer margins. Most resellers have good margins. If you're buying like thrifted goods and garage sale items, that's why I say, like, when you have best offer turned on, you have a little more wiggle room. It's God, this fly. So you have a little more wiggle room in your margins, so therefore you can, take more of those offers. This is why I'm a true believer of like not being attached to any items. Like 99% of the time, I'm accepting all offers on my items. I don't care. I really don't. Obviously, if it's like a Gucci bag that's $1,000 and it sells for $1,000, I'm gonna have less wiggle room there. But if it's like a plain Jane Nike leggings, anything that I can find all the time, just give me double what I paid for it. Like $3. If I paid $1.50, give me $3. I'm good. Let's go. I'm ready to do deals. So that's kind of where I am on like the personal attachment that I have with my items. I have no like if everything were to burn down in here, it's okay. I would just go out and start over. It's not like I'm crying over the Ann Taylor pants that I lost. Oh no, how am I ever going to find that again? So that's where I stand with it. I do get it as to why people gain attachment over their items, but the less that you can be attached to the items you're selling, the better you are releasing those items into the economy. So, yeah, good perspectives, everybody. I really want to hear your voice, your opinion. What do you think? I'm still learning. I want to hear. I just heard rumblings lately more and more of like, man, listing every day. That could be changing on eBay. Tango Collections says, I started making more money when I turned on best offer. Yeah. I've always had it on. There are stores that do really well with it off. But would those stores that are doing really well with it off, would they make more sales if they had it on? Would they make more money if they had it on? So there we go. I don't know. We have yet to see that, right? eBay Life. Best offer can work if it's a single item, but not even an option for multi-listings. Yeah, another thing that eBay could work on. Sorry for spelling. No worries. I gotcha. I agree. Multi-quantity listings, things like that. There's a few things that eBay needs to do on the back end to really help us sellers make more money instead of raising the promoted listing fee. Yeah, Husty says it has improved things for sure. You said, I've definitely got more interest. Some of the offers are not great, but got some good sales too from it. Yeah, I mean, best offer can also be annoying for some people. People like, if you let the low offers get to you, it's going to be a challenge because not only on Poshmark, but it happens on eBay. You're going to get lowballed all the time, all day, every day. I just consider it pure joy, when someone sends an offer. That means someone's willing to buy an item. That's great. I'm open for business. Are all offers acceptable? No. I'll accept 9 out of 10. But I also need to reflect on the type of item that it is. The harder to find that item again, the less wiggle room I have on the offer. A CC Filson pair of jeans. I don't find that every day when I go out, so I'm not going to just take 80% off. But Nautica pair of jeans that I wouldn't be putting in my store anymore. But if they send me a $10 offer on $20, buy it now, I'm going to take that offer because I can find Nautica jeans probably outside here on the farm, just laying in the field. They're everywhere. So, yeah, it's You got to consider how hard was it to find this item, and then you can base that around whether you want to, take a 50% or 80% off offer. Tango, you said I've actually had people offer way over what I'm asking as well. Interesting. I've had people make offers. I have a 20% off coupon. I've had people offer 10% off the original buy it now price. So they could have gotten the item for far cheaper, but they don't care. They just offered, $18 on a $20 item. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's activity. 100%. Being active, changing things up, changing photos. I do feel like the thing that was a trend and had success up until recently was the ending and self-similar. I've never done that. I don't do it, but I've had see people have success up until like the last few months where people are saying like this doesn't have the same effect like it had in the past. So I know Reseller Tom, you do that. What are you seeing on your end? I don't know. What that kind of you saw after ending and selling similar, but it seems like that is kind of coming to an end. The metadata that's in the photos, if you don't change the photo, I feel like that the algorithm, or they use AI software to be able to detect this is the same item. So unless you're changing the photos as well, maybe removing the background, I've heard some people do, is enough. The store we just reviewed, Justin, I think that's why you started turning some of your golf photos, like just making a change of rotating the photo. So I don't know. It's really interesting what other people are trying and what's working and what's not. Great Deals Depot says, what I really hate is when I accept the best offer and then they don't pay. Yeah, I'm actually seeing a little bit more payments come in from accepting best offer. I don't know if eBay's slowly rolling that out more and more, where if they send a best offer, they have to pay right away, which is why I love Poshmark. There's no like waiting payment. I usually generally have about 5 to 10 to sometimes 15 awaiting payment at all times. But yesterday, I had 3 awaiting payment, and I can't remember the last time I saw less than 5 people awaiting payment. But yeah, that is the part of eBay. What other place or platform or retail store where you can commit to buying something and not have to pay later? I don't recall of a website. You can't go on Amazon and go, I'm going to buy this, and then I'll pay you in 7 days. I don't think it works like that. But yeah, interesting. Tango Collections, been there too. Yep. eBay Life says daily listings can now be detrimental, so your store conversion to views, if it's not a fast sell-through, start to feel I have to look to churn through stock to keep favorable in the algo for placement. Yeah. I don't know. There are people that list every other day in clothing, and they do great, but the items are amazing. So if you have access to really high average sale price and high sell-through rate items, you really need to make, draw the line in the sand and go, which is it? Which is it going to be? Am I going to keep flooding my store? Or am I going to go every other day, and then maybe on the other day that's not the listing day, am I going to go and revise some of my old listings? I don't know. So Huskies Emporium says they caught onto it, sell similar, because people told them in frustration when the slow sale thing started, and they listened to that. Yeah, I agree. Huskies Emporium says, I haven't seen the immediate payment in the UK yet. Yeah, they've been rolling that out. I mean, for over a year, I've heard that, oh man, when they have a best offer, the payment will go through right away. Yeah, but they've been talking about that for a year and a half. I was all pumped when it first came out, but I'm seeing it more in the last few days where I'll get a best offer and they'll pay right away. But I don't think it's completely like fleshed out and rolled out. My personal opinion is that they're trying on the back end of eBay is that they're trying to like, someone said it's like you're, and I think this was on Josh's channel where he said, they're trying to work on something like it's like you're a mechanic working on a car, but the car's driving 100 miles per hour. So it's like there's so many little things that like maybe they fix this, but then this breaks. Or they fix two other things and then three other things break. So I don't know as far as the future of the daily listing habit. I'm still going to continue to do what I've been doing that's been successful for me, but by all means, it might not work for everybody. We all live in different areas. We all live around different opportunities to find items. So maybe listing every other day will work for you, but those items that you list every other day are amazing. So I don't know. I feel like I've built so much habits and consistency with the listing every day and doing 25 a day, going from 50 a day every day for a year and then going to 25 a day. It's like it's I mean obviously it's been easier, but it's been easier in so many different ways, like not just in listings and photos, but just like the sourcing is now more enjoyable and fun. I don't feel like the pressure of like I need to find these items when I go out sourcing. Like when I would go to the bins, I would always have that in the back of my head, like I drove an hour away and I need to at least pick up 250 items. So as I would keep sourcing at the bins, I would go, okay, I haven't hit my 250 yet. Now I just need to start picking up, Gap and some bad brands, which I don't do anymore. I don't want to do. And doing 25 a day has enabled me to not have to worry and stress about the inventory part of it. So, Reseller Tom, you said, yeah, sell similar is not like it used to be. I just do it on my highest in demand items, and it does get some sales, but goes back to normal the next day. Yeah. I mean, I've seen a few people's YouTube videos where they show like the traffic spike, the impression spike. There was a guy in our Patreon, I think a couple weeks ago, where he accidentally listed his entire traffic. But it was kind of cool to see as like an experiment. They listed their entire draft bank, and it was like 100. They list like 5, 10, 15 items a day, and he listed 137 items on that day. And the traffic spike was like double in impressions. His sales were like double, triple. I think he sold like 40 items that day. So there's something to be said about that, right? So I don't know. There's a lot of experimentation going on right now on eBay, as eBay hasn't been. They're just not clear. Like they're barely clear about how they want titles done and how they want their optimized listings. You'd think they would all share that, right? But they aren't clear as far as all that, what entails into making a good quality listing. Justin, what's going on? You said late to the party. Yes, end and sell similar used to work great. Was a great way to boost sales, but not so much now. Yep, things are changing. All we can do is continue to initiate the change we want to see. We're in an ever-changing world. What things have you ever known in life that stayed the same? Nothing in existence, except for like math and principles and basic laws, right? So that's why we got to really just keep on our toes, keep innovating, keep doing brand research. Whether you're a clothing reseller or you're a trading cars reseller, keep refining yourself, keep learning, keep having that hunger for knowledge, because nothing, no matter where you sell, Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, it doesn't matter. It just all comes down to what type of item are you putting in your store. Maybe you do need to do kind of like what I did. Are you listing 20 a day and the items that you put in your store you don't feel the best about? It would be better to go to 10 a day and the items that you're listing, you go, I would buy that. I would wear that. So now when I go out sourcing, I am now looking at the items I'm sourcing. I'm like, man, maybe I'll keep this shirt. It's nice. It's a cinch button up. Sweet. But, if you're buying things that you personally wouldn't buy or wear, that should be a little bit of a sign of like, who's going to, like, if I'm not going to wear it, like, who will? There's a fine line between that, but because a lot of the items that are in my store I wouldn't wear, but they are still in demand items. But once you start picking up items that are like, man, this is actually really nice, that should be your first clue of like, okay, then if I think it's nice, then probably someone else does out there. Like, how many people think Gloria Vanderbilt jeans are nice? I don't know. Not me. So, yeah. So, Justin, appreciate you coming, and I'll clip out your store review and email it to you and with the business plan as well. But thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Huskies Emporium says that they also want to see if you can handle it too, I think. So they set you limits and increase them slowly. 100%. This is why, you really need to gain eBay's trust as you continue to sell on the platform. This is why it's a grow slow type of game and system. Can you get to $100,000 in sales on eBay in your first year? Yes. Can you get much more than that in your first year? Probably not, unless you're selling gold bars. So you really need to figure, okay, this is going to be a long game, and it's going to take me maybe a year or two to really start to see some of the progression and the results of my work. So just really keep that in mind, that nothing in life that's get rich quick is sustainable. So just know that eBay, if you're getting going, it could take a year. It could take 2 years. My first year on eBay, I think I did like $30,000 in sales. But that's when I was selling books, DVDs, CDs, terrible items. So yeah, just remember that we all start somewhere, but you need to always be initiating like the change you want to see, because eBay, they have a lot of the control. This is why I've been cross-listing and doing other things to help bring in more sales in my reselling business. Oh boy, this fly. But everyone's different. It doesn't mean if cross-listing works for you, it means it might not work for the next person. That's fine. That's okay. You know what I can do? I can always stop cross-listing and just focus more on eBay. It's not going to be a huge upset. Terry says, I signed up for promotions and nothing happened. Yeah. I don't know. I've seen people promote at 5% and promote at 10%, and they say the sales didn't change. I've seen people go from 15% promotions down to 5%, and the sales didn't change. So you really need to test and verify and see what works for you, because we all sell different items. We're all in different categories. Do you want to be giving more money to eBay than necessary? I don't promote items that are like 100 to 200% sell-through rate, because it's just handing eBay more of your profits for no reason. Basically, things that are saturated and have slower sell-through rates, promotions work great. But you do need to realize that, hey, maybe some things don't need to be promoted if they have a higher sell-through rate. And do we need to be promoting at 20% on every item if I'm getting the same results promoting 10%? There's a lot of interesting things we could be talking about with what eBay's got going on, and I'm going to be reviewing eBay's Q3 report. I think it comes out on the 23rd of October, and we'll be deep diving all of those numbers as well. It'll be interesting to see if they are getting the majority of their money from sellers. We'll see. Reseller Tom says, anytime I wear the clothing I list, it sells the same day. Yeah. If you got some good style, you're wearing the best of the best. So that's good. But yeah, if you guys are catching this on the replay and you have any comments as the topic we're talking about, just comment down below. I want to know kind of what your guys' history is versus listing every day versus not every day. It's interesting. I think it's a good topic to be talking about, and just to bring a little bit more awareness as to like what's going on in the industry, what's going on with eBay, and just whatever works for me or whatever works for someone else might not work for you. So that's why it's important to just kind of have your ears to the ground and kind of do your own due diligence as to what is going to work for you. But yeah, Huskies Emporium says, I got told that promotions is tier 3. Keep up. Tier 1 was description and pricing. Tier 2 is item specifics. Then it's promotions, so you don't really need it way overhyped. Yeah, I can think of Sean with Taylor Exchange, good YouTube channel. Go check him out. I don't think he promotes anything in his store, and I think we're selling the same amount of items. So, yeah, it's really good. You know, it's good to collaborate and see what are other sellers doing and what is their methods. You know, why do they do that? So, it's cool. I love to see it. I love to see people that are not giving eBay more of their money and they're killing it. They're crushing it. That means they're doing a good job sourcing. Um, Justin, you said, despite all the issues, I still have a year-over-year growth of 65%. I have seen this every year for the past 3 years. Beautiful. But yes, the last month I have seen a 40% decrease. So I like looking year over year. Yeah, if anyone is kind of struggling with looking at the kind of point of view of like your weekly, your daily, even your monthly, go back and reanalyze year over year. And that's going to bring you great excitement and joy because I think I'm up 40% year over year. I'll have to verify that, but you know, I'm up double digits over the previous year, and you need to realize how hard it is for a retail business, a brick and mortar business, to be up even 10% year over year. That is like we're having a big Christmas party. Get out the champagne. You know, that's awesome. 10% year over year for Costco or Walmart. I mean, that is like game changing. So if you could see in your eBay business, you're up double digits, you're doing better than a lot of Fortune 500 companies out there. So when in doubt, zoom out. That's like a technical analysis trading term, but when you're looking at the the daily, the weekly, it's not enough data to give you a good idea of how your business is doing. Like lately you could be up 40% week over week, and then the next week you're down 50% week over week. So zoom out and look at your yearly. How much am I up year over year? And then you can go, oh man, I'm up 60% year over year. Things are trending in the right direction. So yeah, that's a good example, Justin. And I do remember that. So you are on a good trajectory. Just keep doing what you're doing. Tango Collection says, can you wear my clothing so I can sell, Reseller Tom? Yeah, wear it. You could put in the title, worn by Reseller Tom. Boom, there you go. So I kind of just want to share with y'all, we do have a Patreon. Marcus Dixon and I, we run a Patreon with about 61 other members, growing their stores, holding them accountable, doing clothing deep dive brands, coaching calls every Tuesday. We provide 10 hours a week of weekly coaching. Marcus does the morning call, I do the evening call, and we really work with you guys more on a personal level to really help you guys hit the goals you want to hit. So we have a 7-day free trial. We have that because we want people to at least try it out and get a feel for it. Not everyone's familiar with Zoom and not everyone's familiar with Discord. So that's why it's open for you to just try. See if you can figure out those two platforms. And yeah, if you do like it, it's just $1 a day after that. But our whole goal and mission is to just really help you guys along the way because there's so much information out there. There's so much doing this and there's so much doing that. We want to just create an open dialogue among the community to see what's working now for these people. And then maybe you can start to figure, oh, okay, if it's working for them, maybe I'll start to implement those steps. So really love seeing the growth and really love all my Patreon members. Everyone's been doing great, and I am learning every day from other people in the group as well. So if you guys are wanting to really, elaborate on what we talked about today, just hit me up on Instagram too. I want to know what you're doing. So we'll see you in the next one. I got a video coming out tomorrow. It's going to be a thrift haul going over the things that I picked up over the last few days. I hope you all have a blessed rest of the day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.